My friend Ben and I have been writing songs off and on together for many years at this point. At the tail end of 2019, we had just released an album and immediately launched into writing a new batch of songs for what we would ultimately call Haunted Mansions. It's got a bit of a spooky vibe to it. Well, it's 2026 now, still unreleased, 13 songs. And, this year I'm committing to finally finishing this album. And life gets in the way. There's still arrangement and sonic details that nag at me that I'm still trying to figure out why aren't they quite working. So last week, Ben stopped by the studio and we listened to some of the songs. And he helped identify a section of a song that just didn't need to be there. Though we love the part, it's just not serving the song. The song on screen is called It Goes Something Like That. And, every one of these songs have been in this perpetual state of demo. But I'm going to play for you the intro, maybe into the verse, so you can get a vibe for what we're trying to accomplish here.
Red carpets throughout, remains of the blood spilling fumes. They be in stitches do movements. So Ouija, shifting eye pictures, no dreaming. Believe it, posted on that curbside, let them grieve it. I've been colder than.
So I think you can get a sense this is a moody song. It's almost melancholy to me anyways. And it starts with this Nintendo-y synth. And then the vocals come in, we kick into the beat. Every song on this album has gone through numerous iterations. As we've been writing, producing, arranging, I'm always trying to think of not just what gets us excited, but if there were a potential audience, someone listening to this, how do I keep it interesting, intriguing? What's too much? What's not enough? And so these are the questions I ask myself, maybe to the point of perfectionism, which brings us to about the end of chorus 2. Now, at the time that we were working on this song, I think I felt the song was a little too straightforward, a little too obvious in its arrangement. Thus, instead of going straight from the chorus into the bridge, we added this break in between that kind of sounds like a demon leaving an answering machine message. I know, it's weird, but take a listen.
Oh, I'll meet you there. So, sat on my step instead. Oh, I'll meet you there. So, sat on my step.
Hey, we couldn't be here right now. Just whistle as you go by the graveyard. Peace.
It goes something like that. It goes something.
Right, it's leaning into this spooky vibe. It creates an interesting moment, and I'm just using Logic Pro's vocal transformer on Ben's voice. So if we go to the sound effects here, and right here, I'm just using vocal transformer. I've pitched it down by about an octave, and I've adjusted the formant. So Ben is sounding, a little creepy. Let's take a listen without vocal transformer.
We couldn't be here right now. Just whistle as you go by the graveyard.
Bring it back.
We couldn't be here right now. Just whistle as you go by the graveyard.
I do love this part. I mean, for Ben and I and our weird tastes, this really hits a vibe for me. However, we decided that maybe this part is actually causing the song to grind to a halt. Instead of enhancing the song, it's just kind of taking the wind out of its sails. So I'm going to set the cycle range to this break section, but I don't want to hear the break section over and over again. I want to skip over it. In that case, I'm going to hold Command and click on the cycle range to turn it from a cycle range or a loop range to a skip range. And we'll take a listen again.
I'll meet you there. So, sat on my step. Goes something like that. It goes something like, whoa. It goes something like that.
I gotta say, the song is so much better now without this answering machine demon message, right? And whether or not this is your style of music, but I'm sure you can appreciate by skipping over this break section that the song just flows better. I think this is super relatable for us creatives because when you work on your music for any length of time, in this case years, you examine the song from so many different angles, trying to figure out how do I make this the song that I imagine in my mind. And as time goes on, perhaps you start to fall in love with parts. In this case, I've fallen in love with this part, but is this part helping the song move forward, or is it just a part? In this case, it's just a part, and we need to get it out of here. Now, here's the thing. I still want to keep this section. I don't want to delete it entirely. Maybe it would serve better as an interlude in between songs. So for now, I'm just going to move the break section after the end of the song. So I'm going to pop open the global tracks here, and I'm going to right-click and choose to show the arrangement markers alongside the marker track. You know, this brings up a question that I get a lot from different users, and you might be thinking this at this moment as well. And that question is Chris, how come you choose to use markers in Logic Pro instead of the arrangement markers, especially since this is a song that you are writing and producing yourself? Honestly, it's a bit of habit. I mean, at the time that I got started with Logic Pro, all we had was markers. But also what I love about markers is if you close the global tracks, you can still see them. They're a great navigational tool. There are even key commands for jumping to different markers. So it's just a really great navigational tool for knowing where you are in a project without having to have the global tracks open all of the time. But from here, I'm going to click on the marker heading, and I'm going to convert my markers to arrangement markers. And just like that, I have arrangement markers for each and every section of this song. At this point, I'm just going to grab this break marker and drag it to the end. And as you can see, I have a couple tracks frozen. Let's just unfreeze them. Booyah. Let's now listen to this arrangement change.
I'll meet you there. So, sat on my step. Goes something like that. It goes something like, whoa. It goes something like that. It goes something like, whoa. It goes something.
So simple, right, to rearrange this song in Logic Pro. Okay, so now the question of what am I going to do with this section that I've just dragged to the end, this break section? Well, really the break boils down to this one line. And there's also this fax machine tone that I use to insinuate the idea of an answering machine that's starting up so you can leave your message. We have a couple tail end of some regions. I'm not too worried about those, so I'll just hold Shift select each and mute them. But right here, it's these two tracks. And honestly, I'm not too sure what I want to do with them right now. So I'm just going to use the power button to power down the tracks. This unloads the audio effects and mutes the tracks so they're not taking up processing power. And for now, they're just going to live at the tail end of my project, right? Great. One detail of the song that's taken care of, moving us closer to our goal to actually releasing this album. So if you yourself are sitting on some unreleased music that's just living on your hard drive, waiting for the day to be released out into the world, maybe this year will be your year too to get it done.
I'll meet you there. So, sat on my step. Goes something like that. It goes something like, whoa. It goes something like.